Okay, good morning. We got to tighten my chair today. Alrighty. Got about maybe 5 seconds or so. Possibly 10 until it turns 5:30. We'll get this Monday morning mental workout started. Okay, guess it was a little bit longer than that. Large it out. All right, it is 5:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, according to my T-Mobile device. How y'all doing this morning? Dr. Donna, I am here on this amazing Monday, April 7th, day 519 consecutive days for me, going live between TikTok and YouTube. Today's topic is Be Objective. We will need a device and some note-taking materials for this live as it is instructional. Okay, on the second device that you're using, you will need to go to the turnarounddoctor.com and you will go to the 74 Principles of Real Leadership tab. Scroll down to the Authentic section, and we are going over number 9 today, Be Objective. And you will also need note-taking materials. I used old school notebook, spiral notebook, pen, highlighter, red pen. It's up to you to choose how you need to take notes in order for you to grasp what I am saying today. Before we get into how we got here, we're going to go ahead and take 3 cleansing breaths. So on your own, go ahead and inhale and exhale 3 times. Okay, so how did we get here? We got here through neurogenesis, which is the creation of new neurons. From there, what happens is you have neuroplasticity, which creates new neural pathways and wires your brain to every different area that you want it to go to in your life. It just does it automatically. Think of it as highways, just taking you from point A to point B. And then you take those two and you combine them with personal accountability, these 74 principles of real leadership. And what you get is neuropability. And is your brain's ability to wire itself to use these 74 principles of real leadership and then combine those neural pathways to create unlimited neural pathways, which creates unlimited ways for you to hold yourself personally accountable, and you get to become your best day in and day out. How does this happen? It happens in the frontal lobe. The executive function of your brain is considered the CEO of your brain. So without further ado, let's go ahead and use it. Today, be objective. I have been defining each word in the principles of real leadership so that you can understand it in all of its essence and glory, so that when you apply it, you know exactly why you are applying it. B is to take place. B, to take place. That's pretty simple. And then objective. Objective means verifiable information based on facts and evidence. Verifiable information based on facts and evidence. And evidence, I think I say information, but it is evidence. So if I say I am 52, about to be 52 years old next month, that's easy to verify. Birth records, you can go and check, and you go to Michigan and it should pull up. I don't think Hustle Hospital is there, but if you go to birth records, get a birth certificate, you're going to see who my mama and daddy is and was for my father. Mother is that potentially still here. I don't know. I want no contact, but anyway, you will see all of that. You will see that I was born on Thursday. Hustle Hospital at 10:47 p.m. It was a Thursday, because that is evidence. That is truth. Okay, those are the facts. So when you are objective, it means that you are using verifiable information based upon facts. And in today's world, we don't really do that. You see something, some soundbite, some little notification, a video or something, especially with AI now, and I'm talking about artificial intelligence, not Allen Iverson, and you just run with it. And Nola learned this lesson the hard way. She sees something, oh my goodness, somebody's been unalived, R.I.P., R.I.P., and then you get the whole story, you're like, oh, okay. All right, so they was doing some other stuff. They got gunned down from an armed robbery. But so be objective. It means verifiable information based upon facts and evidence. Facts and evidence. And why do you need to be objective, or when? In your decision making, in your daily decision making, you need to be objective. In your daily decision making, that's where you need to be objective. Okay, all the time. If you're about to make a decision, if you're about to go get a snack, be objective about your snack. If the doctor told you, hey, lay off all of that added sugar and make sure you decrease your salt intake, guess what you're not going to do? You're not going to go to the kitchen and get a doggone bag of chips and a bag of cookies. Okay, you have to be objective. You got to say, do we have some almonds? Do we have some fruit? And oh, by the way, I do have that. So here are some almonds and here are some oranges. Okay, so be objective. Take the information and the facts, and then that's how you make decisions. And the Dr. Donna quote that's listed in the book is, life becomes less complicated when you make decisions based on facts, not emotions. When you make your decisions based on facts, not emotions. And we're going to get into which part of the brain that you're using when you're making decisions on using emotions, and when you're making decisions based upon facts. So what questions do you have about being objective? It takes place, decision making that takes place, and you're using verifiable information based upon facts and evidence. Facts and evidence. Facts and evidence. Good morning, Sabrina. Be safe on your road travels. I have a new method this morning because by the time we get to about 6:02, my coffee is cold. So I waited. So if you see me wince, that means that my coffee is too hot right now. But I have a different strategy. See if this one works better. Okay, it's a little bit hotter. But we're going to get this right. All right. So why is it difficult to be objective? Why? Why is it so difficult to be objective? And the answer is this: subjectivity. Subjectivity makes it harder or difficult to be objective. Subjectivity is information or perspective based upon feelings, opinions, or emotions rather than based upon facts. So subjectivity means that you are not using factually based information. You are using your feelings, your opinions, your emotions, anything other than factually based, tangible information. So objectivity is the opposite of subjectivity. So if you are not being objective, you are being subjective. Now, what would make you be subjective? It's quite simple. You are programmed to be subjective. And all of the biases that come with it, negativity bias and everything else, are contributing factors to this. So negativity bias says everything is bad. The world is falling apart. You could wake up and the sun will be shining. We're getting ready to experience high temperatures in the highs of 80s and 90s this week in Las Vegas. Sun is shining on both sides of the street, but negativity biases said, yeah, but if it's this hot in April, it's going to be 150 degrees by June. Right? So you can't just use the facts of let's just be on April 7th. Let's just be in the moment that we are in. So the subjectivity is what stops you from being objective. Additionally, your associations with the people around you. So if you say, in my case, I'm going to go be an officer in the military, and everybody in my family was enlisted, and the first thing out their mouth is, officers don't do no work. Officers don't do no work at all. I'm like, well, yes, they do. No, they don't. Okay, cool. So I become an officer and I find out exactly how much work I actually have to do. And guess what happens? If officers don't do no work, shit goes left. Guess who the first person getting relieved of command? The officer in charge. Where's the OIC? Where is the OIC? Where are they? You are the person that is going to get all the trouble. All is you. Because you're the first person that's going down. So the associations around you will stop you from being objective. They would say, why are you doing that? I remember one time when I was still talking to my mother and her husband, I was reading, and they said, why are you always coming over here reading? You read too much. I'm like, okay. So, and because my daughter used to clean her house, and I would be over there because I'm over there with her. She's cleaning when she had her cleaning company, and I would just sit at the table and read. And they had a problem with that. I'm like, I'm just gathering information. Or my mother, who is a hot topic guru, she got all the gossip for you. Soon as I gave her some factually based information, contrary to what at that time Wendy Williams, Whoopi Goldberg, and TMZ told her, my information wasn't valid. She wanted to be subjective. I'm telling her objectively that's not what happened. She said, because they said, and on TMZ, Harvey said, okay, cool. So you are subjective. And if the that you are getting that information from is stronger than the facts, you're going to believe that subjective source. And that's where you have conformity bias. That's where you have confirmation bias as well. And that's what stops you from making sound decisions. That is what stops you from that. Additionally, past experiences. Past experiences will tell you, yeah, it's okay to make that decision. I mean, there are times if I use some of the information that I had from the 90s in 2025, there's no way I would be doing what I'm doing currently, because that information is old and outdated, and I'm not the person that I was back then. But past experiences says this works. I have a pair of my cutoff Daisy Dukes from the 90s, my Guess jeans that I cut off that I used to wear to the club. Look at that girl in Daisy Dukes. I want you to, right? Had them. It would be a bad decision for my 52-year-old literally ass to be putting those shorts on that I had on when I was in my teens and early 20s. No bueno. I don't care how many squats and stuff you do, your butt just ain't the same no more. And part of that is thank you, Noah. So that would be, I'm still the exact same size that I was. Okay, but everything ain't where it used to be. Do not wear those shorts past the downstairs to the front door of your house, Dr. Donna. You can put them on in the house, but don't you put those on outside. But subjectively, I'm like, I still got it. Let me go ahead and show these girls. Nope, not going to do it. Bad idea. So past experiences will have you making current decisions on your subjectivity, and that's not going to bode well for you. And then, as I mentioned, negativity bias. So when you are making subjective decisions, where do you believe that those decisions are coming from? What part of the brain? You have the frontal lobe, you have the parietal lobe, the occipital lobe, and the temporal lobe. What part of the brain do you believe that you are in when you are making subjective decisions? The amygdala. Yes, ma'am. That is correct. So again, limbic system, this is where all your emotions are. They call this the emotional center of the brain. Yes, limbic, Limbick. That is correct. So this is the portion of the brain that you are using, and that is no bueno. Now, we're getting ready to go to the frontal lobe so we can discuss how to be objective. All right. First of all, y'all don't have questions. Got it. So how can you be objective? Glad you asked. So being objective is developed through education, practice, and experience. It's exposure to more information, facts, and evidence. That is how you can be objective. The information that I had growing up in Detroit versus when I went to college versus when I went to the military, working at Frito-Lay, going and traveling abroad, and those things have given me a more objective perspective. And the thing that has given me the most objectivity is me being in my 11th year of a book challenge, as well as the 2100 and counting projects with my daughter. So the more information that you are exposed to, you have more information to use to make that decision. Living in the hood before we moved into a better neighborhood, all I had was my hood experience and a couple times going to my cousin and grandparents' house. But my day-to-day was a hood experience. And so I was definitely making subjective decisions at that point in my life. But as I began to move and be able to get on a bus and go see other places and go over different people's houses, I started getting more information, and it allowed me to make better decisions overall because I had more information. So part of the reason why you make subjective decisions is because of your limited scope. And I call that cubicle-itis. So if you think of an office that's wide open, and then they have cubicle walls so that you go to the different departments. That's how it was at Frito-Lay when they remodeled, and I called it Cube City. Like, oh, where you going? Cube City. And then you had extruded and PC, and then you had corn, and then you had the admins. Everybody was sectioned off with the cubicle walls, so you have to walk in, and then you opened it. It was open seating for everybody sitting at their desk. And then the BULs and the leadership team were in offices around them. So the point is that cubicalized existence. This is what we think. This is our niche. This is our conformity bias. This is where we are. This is how we make our decisions. So in order for you to be objective, you have to advance what it is that you know. So you have to be willing to go outside of your cubicle, look to the left, look to the right, and go venture into other places so that you can get more experience, more information, and more education. And that is how you begin to make better decisions. So how can you be objective? First of all, you got to be in the frontal lobe. This is where it's happening. It is the magic happens in the executive function because that is where your working memory is. It's also where your decision making is in the frontal lobe. Your logic, your reason, your personality, all of those things that you use, your cognition is in the frontal lobe. And as a result of that, that's how you're going to make the most factually based decisions. So how do you do it? Number one, you're going to review all of the information. Every piece of information that is available to you, you are going to review in that moment. Everything. I tell people, if you want my decision now, the answer is no. Give me some time to go and assess what's taking place, and then I'll make a more informed decision. The answer might still be no, but at least we all gonna know why I'm making that decision. So I gather all the information. And I've said this before. I have not signed the new terms and condition from Samsung on my phone or my tablet because I haven't read the terms and conditions. So every time that notification pops up, hey, we got some new terms and conditions, go ahead and read it and sign it. I haven't read it yet. So I'm not going to do it. I'm not just about to do it. Next thing you know, well, you signed the most recent version of your terms and condition. And I know there's always loopholes, and because I'm using the device, I got it. But it's really just the principality of the matter. I'm not going to put my name, sign, make a decision if I don't have all the information. Next, so step one is you review all the information. Step two, you weigh the pros and cons. You weigh the pros and cons of everything. And I'm old school, so I take a piece of paper, I draw a line down the center, I put the pros on one side, the cons on the other. I look at it, and if there is time, I sleep on it. And then I wake back up again. And a caveat to this is that I play the movie out. I literally play the movie out and say, if I make this decision, how is that going to end for me? And then I pick and choose from that and then make that decision based upon the pros and the cons. So you eliminate emotion. If you are emotional, don't make any decisions. Master P said it, don't make decisions when you're desperate, because you're going to really enter into, and this is me, you're going to really enter into a Faustian bargain. And the next thing you know, you're going to be in some precarious situation saying, how did I get here? You got here because you let your amygdala and your hijacked amygdala drag you all the way to and through. So eliminate every last emotion. If you find yourself even slightly heart palpitating, sweating, or anything else, do not make that decision right then and there. And if you have to, again, no. The decision is no. My answer is no. You're going to save yourself a lot of heartache and pain and finances and everything else. Number four, make the decision based upon the facts. So again, you're going to review all the information, weigh the pros and cons, eliminate emotion, and then make that decision based upon facts. And we know that there are three brains, your head, your heart, and your gut. When you are making decisions, you are going to use your head brain and your gut brain. Your gut brain is sending 400 messages to your head every single day. It's not a reciprocal relationship. The gut is talking and communicating. It's telling you about what's happening with the body. It's telling you about instincts and everything else. So listen to your gut. Every time I didn't listen to my gut, I'm like, and for you to understand how you know you didn't listen to your gut, because the first thing out your mouth is something told me. Something told me I should have followed my first mind. That is the gut telling you, don't, or do. And you don't. And then the next thing you know, I got to get myself out of this. Man, I missed the opportunity, whatever it is. So you are using your head brain and your gut brain and your head brain to be objective. What questions do you have about how to be objective? And the 4 steps in order for you to be objective. What is the physical time? Okay, 5:48. Got it. No questions? All right, we're going to be done quick today. Awesome. Okay. So at this point, we're going to go to the website, and today's video is Sabrina, you're driving, so you could just check it out when you get to at lunch break or later today. Go to the social media tab. No, Kevin, I'm not going. I'm actually not going to give you extra work. I'm actually sleepy today, so don't do that. I did, Kevin. Now that I see that you're here, I did see your video with the ice cream and the boba tea and everything on there. You had just put it up. We were at an appointment. It showed up as I was posting. So good job editing with your kind master of music and all of that. So definitely a great video. Kudos to you for challenging yourself, learning how to use kind master, taking a leap of faith with the ice cream machine, and combining it with your current business model to create a new additional sigmoid curve and offer a different offering to your customers that are there, and you will draw in new customers as well. So it was overall a great business decision, and then also a great way to challenge yourself and take a risk too, and then develop technical competence. So kudos to you. All right. So without further ado, yes, my pleasure. Without further ado, we are going to go to the social media tab on the website, and then you're going to go to YouTube. And you're going to go, excuse me, to desktop. You're going to use the drop down arrow, and you're going to go to fronting. Fronting. So it's FRONTIN apostrophe. And it is a 5-minute and 38-second video, but it is well worth it. And once you're finished watching it, go ahead and type what resonates with you. And I'm going to challenge you, Kevin, today to type 3 sentences about what you've learned today. And you too, Nola. Let's see if we can get, just go to the character limit and see what happens this morning. You both are people of a few words. Unless you're mad, then Nola is like a Gatling gun at that point. She's like, okay, so it is fronting. I have on a striped shirt and some feather hair to help you out video wise. And then you have 5 minutes and 38 seconds. Once you finish it, it's desk talk. I apologize. It's desk talk. Dr. Donna's desk talk is the playlist. And you'll have to use the drop down menu, the little arrow, to get further down in the playlist. And it is the fronting video. And then once you finish watching the video, so I know you're finished, ... and then you can type your response to that. I'm going to put this live in the playlist. Okay. You should be coming around third. Okay. All right, Nola, you said keep it 100. Don't front because you are only fooling yourself. Fronting is the opposite of being authentic. Very, very good. Very good. And the fact that you put that in there, and we were having the discussion the other day about someone needing to just do everything and be authentic, and we are in the authentic section of Real Leader Principles. That is correct. And it doesn't work. It doesn't feel good. And even if nobody else knows that you're fronting, you know that you're fronting. And that was the whole purpose of the video. And then Kevin, have you let me know, are you close to finishing? I think this new strategy with the coffee actually worked. Because it's warm now and it's after 6, and this is when it would normally be getting cold. No, I didn't see your post, Kevin. If you could type it again. I see the post that said you don't see my post. I do see that one, but no. The last thing I have you saying is thank you. YouTube, you got to get it together. This is not boding well. Maybe type it one sentence at a time and see if that does it. I said make it 3 sentences an hour. That's funny. There we go. People want to take the elevators and nobody wants to take the stairs. They have run into social biases to fit in. Fronting works until you have to show your work. Yes, that is what is interesting, and that is what I have found out, especially when I was volunteering at the Urban Chamber and coming across people and just in doing it. I've said that I've sat down with people like, oh, you gonna meet with such and such, and I sit down and they in front of me crying in front of the club. That is terrible. I'm like, you're supposed to be helping me now. I'm over here. Telling you how to fix your issue. You're supposed to be introducing me to more people. You're supposed to be growing my stuff. I'm over here holding your back, telling you it's gonna be okay. Yes, fronting is the shortcuts, and I have a Dr. Donna quote that says, "When you skip the line, you leave the skills behind." Additionally, fronting causes you to enter into Faustian bargains, because when you find yourself, as you said, Kevin, you have to show your work. that's when you start going and grabbing folks to make it look like you know what you're talking about. And people misuse that Henry Ford quote all the time when he was in court for something, and he said, I don't need to know. That's why I hire smart people. So entrepreneurs have taken that and ran with it and have said, I can hire people to do that. I can hire people to do that. But when it's time to say what was done, they are saying, oh, I did, I did, I did. So if you hired people to do it, then you and all those people need to be on the scene. Okay. My sister did that all the time. She took credit. I put her in situations that she has never been able to get herself back into again. And she's there taking full credit. I got it from here, Dr. Donna. I got it from here. I'm like, oh, I thought, oh, okay. I'm not, oh, okay. No, and yes. And so how that took place. And okay. Well, as you mentioned, Kevin, if you were the one doing the work, why couldn't you keep it up? I left you in a very good position and you couldn't because it was me. It's like, who was Shakespeare for real, for real? No one really knows. But William Shakespeare gets the credit. The person that was supposed to be him gets the credit, but there is some chatter out there that may in fact not have been the actual person. Okay, so fronting does not work. Fronting does not work. Do not front. And they have a saying in the streets, keep your fronts up till you come up. But then people just keep their fronts up. And that's it. And then they can't take them down. And then they think, oh, I'm too far in. If I take them down now, everybody's going to know I'm a fraud. Just tell the truth. Say why you were fronting and then say the truth. And then from there, it'll be okay. Okay. So next you go down to A and Q. And you're going to, and this is like a 20-second video. You're going to go to A and Q, and settling for less is the A and Q for today. Settling for less. And kudos to Nola and Kevin for typing more after me demanding it. What is your order? 2 more times. Excuse me. I am sleepy. It's called settling for less. So you're going to have to do the drop down menu, and it's called settling for less. And I have on long straight hair with a side part and a red shirt on. Oh, pardon me. Gotcha. And if you all have typed something, I can't see it, but you could be typing. So remember, after you watch the video, ... then I'll know you finished it. If you need me, call me. No matter where you are, no matter how far. Listen, baby. Yes, I have said that. I have a video for it and a quote for it as well. Settling leaves you so unsettled. It does. And it's always some unaccountable, unsettled person that's encouraging you to settle. So, Kevin, if you have typed something, I do not see it. But if you haven't, then that's why I do not see it. Oh, now something is unallowed. Is it dust or eyelash? Okay, Kevin. When you settle for less, is saying you don't know your worth or value. You have become comfortable, and at some point, you will become unhappy. That is correct as well. And the thing about settling, and I thought about this too, is settling comes from a fearful place. And because you think you can't do this next thing, fear it sets in, and then you settle. You stay married, you stay in a job, you stay in a location, you stay in the stuckmally, you stay with your stens, you stay there. Yes, and your post came in twice, Kevin. So you end up staying in situations out of fear. And then because of that, you then pass that fear, I call it fear transference. You pass that fear along to everybody else. And then everybody else stays stuck too. And my grandfather, my mother's father, did that because he went to go work at one of the big three, lost his job, had a stay-at-home mom with 4 children. So then he got a job at the morgue, retired from the morgue, saw a bunch of stuff, which is part of the reason why he was drunk. You can't just see, oh, me, you got a baby in the closet in a jar. So who knows what he saw between that and World War II? Who actually knows? And so every one of his children, besides my mother, who's a recalcitrant, stayed in Detroit. They all live in the same houses that they had in the 80s and the 90s. Obviously, those houses are paid for. Same job, same everything. They did exactly what he did and are exactly where he was. He even moved all the way to Las Vegas and found a neighborhood that was damn near similar. Instead of living in a house, he just lived in an apartment. I was like, how did he find Lawton all the way in Las Vegas? That doesn't make no sense. But and so that happened, and so they settled. And my mother's siblings were very angry at her. She moved out of Wayne County into Oakland County, which is a higher tax bracket, and you out there, how you gonna lead the city, and all these other things that just didn't make sense to them. And so it was this whole, they're stuck, and now their children. We're in our 50s and 40s and late 20s because they had children late. Everybody's stuck doing, they are stuck doing the exact same thing, and they have settled because that's a more predictable outcome. They've all picked industries that they could stay in for 30 years and die in those industries. And that's unsettling because the brain wants you to do more. The brain wants to be challenged. The frontal lobe is begging you, please, let's do something. Let's do something. And so instead of learning something and challenging yourself, you go buy something. You go purchase something. You get a promotion and you say, look at this. This is progress in the same job, in the same industry. And it's actually not. So the 2 takeaways from this is fronting makes you inauthentic, and staying settled keeps you in a hijacked amygdala state, and therefore you can't challenge yourself. You will fail and stay stuck, but failure is not an option. Quitters never win. Challenge yourself, take risk. All of those things are combined together to create multiple neural pathways for neuropability in order for you to become your best. Everything that you do, because you're learning to hold yourself personally accountable and implement the 74 principles of real leadership, best is the objective. And fronting, there is no best objective if you are fronting. And when you're settling, there is no best objective. You can't be the best if you're fronting. You can't be the best if you're settling. It's just not actually going to work. So yesterday we had an appointment that came in, and it was for packaging sports equipment. And so we knew Nola took it, and she said, "Oh, this is because the crown is here." So yeah, that's what this is. And so because I'm me, and I'm wrong when it comes to stuff like this, I thought we were going to be packing up like bobbleheads and T-shirts because it was at Park MGM and Aria, because that's where the event was. And so we go to convention centers and do all those things. And so I was like, okay, so we must be going to a booth and they must be selling the T-shirts with the crown, or, it's one of the schools or something like that, because they don't tell you who it is initially. So we get there, and it's actually the recovery rooms for the athletes. So we are breaking down the recovery rooms in both Aria and in Park MGM. Now, the game was funny is that the last game was still going on while we're there. So we're walking, see the game playing on things, and then we're packaging up stuff. And the athletic person from one of the schools, I think UCF or something, that lost, he came and dropped off some more equipment or whatever. But they were sitting in these chairs. I don't know enough about this current recovery, Kevin. Back in the day, I thought it was the merch room that we were going to. So I said, why the hell are these lawn chairs in here? And Nola said, yeah, the athletic trainer from UCF came in. So I'm like, why they got all these damn lounge chairs? And I said, oh, I know what it is. Because I saw research that says the young people are on their phones like this. I said, so they got these advanced lawn chairs so they can sit back and they can hold their phones up like this so they don't hurt their neck for the game. Gotta love me, I tell you. I said, okay, so we packaged everything up, and then we got to the main room and Park MGM. And Nola instantly saw the chairs, knew what she said, oh, these are recovery chairs, because one room was almost finished. But the other room they were using, obviously, because the game was started. So they got the leg things, and we're rolling this stuff up and putting these things. They got the high-tech pressure systems and all of this. And so when we got in the room, I said, oh, now I see what those lawn chairs were for. Makes perfect sense now, because everything was still set up. But it was funny. It was definitely funny to me because I had no idea that was going to take place. But the point is, because we've had so many appointments on the strip and the thing, been around athletes, been to athletes' homes and everything else, it wasn't a big deal. We wasn't like, and we got the crown, bitches, backstage. None of that was happening. Wasn't taking place at all. Got ready to finish the appointment. They were very happy. It was like, thank you so much. So they gave us the polos that they give to the staff as a parting gift. So now Nola has a sports memorabilia room with different things, limited things of sports teams that aren't here anymore. So she was happy that she was able to add to her collection. For me, I now understand the recovery process for athletes because I had no idea. And no, those were not lounge chairs. So there you have it. You can learn something new every single day when you're willing to challenge yourself, because I had said no more of the doggone convention center. I'm sick of them. And then I'm like, okay, it's sports. Let's see. This is for Nola. Let's go and see what this is. So it was definitely interesting to see behind the scenes at that point what was taking place for them. It was the first year of it. I think Fox is supporting it. They said they're coming back next year. It should be more people in it because they didn't start announcing it until after the season was over. But it was good. The athletes attempted to be able, because everybody can't make it to the Final Four. I mean, the 64, Sweet 16, whatever. So this gives them an opportunity to keep playing after the season. Yeah, you guessed that the chair used in Aria. That's what I'm saying. When we walked in Aria, you said what it was. I thought it was lounge chairs. It's the way they were made. They look like them old school long lounge chairs that you lay back in. But then once you start adding all that other equipment to it, then it totally looks different. So again, that's why you need to keep wisdom in the room and youth in the room at the same time, because I was like, okay, I don't understand this. Why is this the recovery room? I'm used to old school with a table and massage and bigger machines and all of that, and here you are in this very more portable situation that was actually taking place. So, needless to say, that because of skill set, because of her, I mean, they're gonna pick the people who show up at the top and all of that. You can't settle in front, because we've even had somebody that fronted and said they could put a love sack together, messed the whole appointment up, even had pictures. That's how it got here. They even had pictures on their profile of a love sack that they said they put together and they messed it up, and then the person ended up having to call NOLA to fix it because that person was fronting. So she could have been settling and only putting mom beds together and, Brimness and Nordleys, and stayed in the bed category, and then she doesn't get to have this in real time sports experience for herself to add to her stories, and understand now she's touched the equipment, understands how it works and everything else, and can suggest that for her athletes as well. So when you challenge yourself and go above and beyond, then you're rewarded in a way that you couldn't have predicted. All right, what did you learn today? Something really in my eye, and look, it's watering and everything. Mm-hmm. 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 Be well. Be well. She's sneezing. Y'all can't hear. I learned that part of being objective is taking your gut into consideration. I thought it was just using facts. Yeah. And I actually have that in the book. Well, what about your head? What about your heart? Down and all that. Mm-hmm. Yep. Because the gut is talking to you. 400 messages a day. It's sending there. Don't eat that. That made us bad. That was a bad idea. As Kevin has switched over to almond milk. That was your gut brain telling your head brain, don't do that. No, don't send no more milk down here. That's no bueno. Mm, mm, mm. I learned the expanded definition of subjective, and that's why I made it the PA and the real brain for today. And then, Nola, you can go ahead and start typing up, what did you learn about yourself today? What was that? Be objective when making decisions. And Kevin, what did you learn about yourself today? No, I no longer have a problem with being authentic, and now I am unwilling to be it's inauthentic, sweetie, but with other people. And that's the other point too. I'm glad you brought that point up, Nola. Sometimes you're being inauthentic because the person that you're or persons that you're interacting with is being fake, basically. And you then end up being you, makes them uncomfortable, so they'll make fun of you and they'll do everything they can for you to stop being authentic and be your real self, because they don't want to be their real self. So if you do that, they start saying stuff like, you talk too much. Why you always telling your business? Why don't you that ain't everybody don't need to know all that. They start really just trying to put you in a nice little box because your realness and your authenticity is fucking with their fake authenticity. Your realness is impacting their fakeness. And they don't like that. Because then you find out the emperor has no clothes on. Okay, and then Nola, what did you do yesterday to be fair? I have be far down here. Yesterday is catching up with me. What is it? I think that's just how I'm sitting today. I have sent athletes the same message and seen who responds. It's fair because it's the same message. Yes, ma'am. Despite different levels of play. Yes. And I respond to everybody in the challenges, regardless of what day they're on, what challenge they're doing, or how many challenges they're in. Everybody gets a daily response from me. And then, Kevin, if you're typing in messages, it's not popping up. I think the air quality is bad again today. And the real leader principle for today is to be objective. I am really sleepy. All right, Kevin. I learned that I'm becoming nerdier. Okay. By the day, I actually looked up to see if there's a difference between meaning and definition. And it is. Nerdier. Was you stopping people in the lockers in high school, Kevin? Were you that dude, the Southern gentleman? Were you in a former life before you became the Southern gentleman? Were you doing that? You becoming nerdier? Okay, that's cool. That is awesome. And then if you have your Be Fair yesterday, we can go ahead and close out. No, that's a great thing. And I would concur with you, or I would agree with you, Kevin, because Nola's vocabulary is improving immensely. Like, she's throwing words out there. I'm like, whoa, Neuropability is working. She would just, in normal day-to-day conversations, just start dropping new words to her vocabulary, to her lexicon. It's just connecting. And she will say words. She used to say words, the wrong word, say it wrong, and in the wrong context. And now she is saying the correct higher level word in the right context and is not even thinking about it, is just communicating effectively, which is something that she has been working on here recently, has needed to work on for over a decade, but definitely has done it. So what's happening for you, Kevin, is that your neural pathways, you're creating those neural pathways to wanting to understand. And I think what's interesting about you is that you have jumped on all of the words. I really believe that you have a fascination with language that is there that you should potentially explore. That was there, that has been there, and now it's rewired again. So I don't know if you were good in English, or you just maybe were good in public speaking at one point, or just have a love of language that you were unaware existed, that is now being opened up to you. But I'm just going by, when you say what you've learned, a lot of times it's a new word or directly related to words. Looking up, understanding language is basically what I'm saying. Okay, so be objective. That is your real leader principle for today. Once we get Kevin's Be Fair, we will get on up out of here. And I have a date with Mr. Sandman, who's about to bring me a dream. Because that was 4 hours of intense packaging. Dun, dun, dun. Mm, 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 mm. I think I'm gonna just have to get a new cup. I definitely don't want no damn Stanley heavy thing. If you need me, call me. No matter where you are, no matter how far. Listen, baby. To keep me from getting to you, babe. Kevin, yesterday I decided to let the staff go early and pay them for the entire day. I thought that was fair. Yes, that definitely was fair. You gained a lot of points too with them for that. Because if somebody had did that to me when I was working at McDonald's or the movie theater, that would have been awesome. Definitely. And then this is funny. When I was working at the movie theater, I was getting ready to something I needed money for, go to advanced camp or something, not advanced camp, cadet challenge or something. And I worked because school was out. I worked 50 hours, and I think my take home pay was $150. So that's the 40 hours plus the 10 for time and a half. No, looked at that, and I kept that pay stub because I thought I was doing something. I was like, look at this, I'm balling out. Woo! I put that in I have a photo album full of me being in high school, and that doggone my senior year, and that pay stub is sitting in there. Yeah, not a lot of money. YouTube didn't like you today. No, Kevin, that has happened with everybody. It's happened to Nola. It happened to Regina. It happened to me. Remember, I couldn't see none of y'all comments, and I literally had to go off the live and get back on it. So YouTube been fair to all of us. If YouTube chimed in and said, "Hey, you talking about be fair?" I'm gonna just make sure something happens to glitch for everybody. And then Lola, the connection, I think it might have been Sabrina, the connection was slow. She had to come back in and come back out. It was glitching. So I just think that as YouTube is attempting to stay relevant and not get its audience taken away by Instagram and TikTok, and now in theory Lemonade, is definitely trying, because it is the old head in the room when it comes to streaming. And some of it they had to catch up with. So I think as they're working out the kinks and everything, and you think about how much is on a YouTube server. I mean, think about it. I got 11,000 videos in my account alone. So just terabytes and terabytes and terabytes. It just slows the system down. They got servers everywhere. So YouTube has been fair to us all. I was mad. Remember, it happened a couple days ago, and I had to switch up the live, and now I got 2 different lives. And you had to tell me to put the brains in the background again. How happy I was with them being fair. So that's what happens. We don't like it, but when you're fair, sometimes it works to your advantage, and sometimes it does not. Okay, that is all that I have for you today. Remember that being objective happens in your frontal lobe. Being subjective happens in your temporal lobe and your limbic system, which is the emotional center of your brain. If you find yourself being emotional, don't make a decision. Wait until you can take a nice little neural pathway up to the frontal lobe and say, hey, let me go ahead and weigh the pros and cons. Go ahead and look at all this data. The facts, can't argue with them. And then go ahead and make your decisions from there. I've never regretted a decision that I made from my frontal lobe. I got a lot of amygdala decisions that I made that I'm like, that wasn't a good idea. But overall, staying in your frontal lobe to be objective helps you make the decisions that you need to make. And do not let someone with a hijacked amygdala talk you out of your objective decision and talk you into a subjective decision. And then when it goes left, they have short-term memory loss, and they don't remember that they're the ones who provided you with wise counsel to put you in that precarious situation. So I always say, if that person is not going to be a part of the result of that decision, then they don't need to be a part of the decision-making process. Because if you're not about to be over here, if this goes left, and you're not going to be here with it going left with me, then that's okay. You can keep it. And remember, there are 6.8 billion adults in the world who are not holding themselves personally accountable. So the chances of them giving you objective, wise counsel becomes minuscule. All right, with that being said, you all go off and have a magnificent Monday. I will be back, God, higher power in the universe willing, same time, same place, same face, different brain t-shirt. You all take care. Adios.